So I'm about the same age as this legend, NBA champion, talking college hoop, working with Powerade, the press pause contest. Jason Williams, White Chocolate. Good to see you, my friend. Just awesome opportunity to see you today. Let's start off with Powerade and talk about who you're working with today.
Yeah, Powerade gave me a great opportunity here to be a part of their campaign. Pause is power. And I think it's really important for not only athletes, for all humans, maybe to take a step back every now and then from whatever they're going through, just take a pause and just relax, clear their mind, and go back at it stronger the next day.
So it's interesting, like looking back on your college career, because you start at Marshall, you're with Billy Donovan. I want to talk about him because I'm in Chicago and he's coaching the Bulls these days. But you follow him down to Florida. You get yourself in trouble off the court, and you're trying to help out college kids with, being in college, taking advantage of what's available today, and staying, as best they can towards the direction they want to go. It's like when you think back on your college career and the ups and downs that you went through, here you're following a coach, and I don't know if you feel like maybe they didn't stand by you a little bit, or maybe he actually stood by you better than you possibly ever could, giving you a real life lesson.
For sure, Billy Donovan stood by me like no other, man. I mean, when I think he was heartbroken when he had to do what he had to do, kick me off the team and things like that. But at the same point, he asked me if I needed a place to stay. If my father wasn't going to let me come back, I was more than welcome to stay with him. So without anything else, Billy Donovan is one of the greatest people that's ever entered my life. And yes, I'm still connected with him to this day. Anything I can do for him in his future, I mean, he's so successful. I don't know what I can do for him. But if he ever needs anything, he knows that I'm here for him.
How do you think you went about getting yourself like, all right, look, hey, I want to be an NBA player. I've been dribbling a basketball since I came out of the womb, 7 hours a day. How do you think you got yourself like turned into the direction that you ended up going?
Well, from where I'm from is Bell, West Virginia, a small town. I'm sure you've never been there. You ought to go. It's a beautiful place. But there really wasn't anything else for me to do there. I thought basketball was my only way out of the town. So I just buckled down at an early age and dedicated my time, probably a little too much time to basketball. I should have stayed a little bit towards the academics a little bit, but everything worked out good for me, and everything is great now, and I wouldn't change anything in my past.
So I've heard how you've talked, like in the gym, you would spend more time dribbling, throwing around the back passes versus shooting. And that's just interesting to me because, I mean, I get you can dribble all day long, but who are you throwing the passes to if you're just in the gym by yourself? And like you can't, I mean, I guess you can whip it off the wall, but there's got to be, I mean, that's not as much fun as shooting the basketball for most of us.
For sure. I had a great time, though. I was throwing the ball to Larry Bird. I was throwing the ball to Kevin Durant. I was throwing the ball to all these guys, So in my mind, I was just thinking, those guys were on the wing. So I would just throw it. And then obviously, like you said, there was nobody there. So I had to run and get it, which was good because it was kind of like once I ran and got it, it was like a press breaker at the time. Now I had to go back down the other end of the floor, but I had to break the press from wherever I got the ball. So, I just had a good time training and practicing. And I think kids nowadays lose sight of practice because practice is really important. And to me, I had a more fun playing in practice than I did in the game because there was a little bit of pressure in the games to win.
So you literally would go 3-on-1, whip it around your back or off your elbow, ball goes and is standing in the corner, and you go pick it back up and run a 3-on-1 the other way with the.
For sure, I'd have to make, as soon as I picked it up, I had to make a ball fake first, and then I would go.
That's love of the game that I appreciate that to the end of the earth. All right, let's get you in the league, and you start with Sacramento, and you're the 7th overall pick in the draft, and you're kind of an instant sensation. Like, how do you remember trying to handle all the attention that was coming your way?
I didn't really grasp it like I would have now. Back then I was just a little kid from Bell, West Virginia, playing basketball. They were giving me, they were paying me on the 1st and 15th to go play basketball. I mean, come on, man. What else could I think about? I wasn't thinking about any of the commercials or the times we were on TV. But realistically, the only thing I thought about was my teammates. And without everybody, I get a lot of publicity about the passing and things like that. But honestly, without my teammates, none of this would be possible.
Who took you under? Who was like your vet at that point, kind of guided you at least a little bit? Or, I mean, I don't, did you have one?
I didn't really have a specific one because my rookie year was a different year. It was a lockout year. So we only got to play 50 games. So it was a quick season. We would play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Coach Adelman had to throw me out there. We didn't really have any backup point guards, so he had to throw me out in the fire, and that's what allowed me to throw the ball in the third row. So, I'm thankful for that. But I kind of listened to all my teammates. Anybody that was older than me, they're willing to help me and say something, I was ready to listen.
Yeah. Before I get too deep in your NBA career, I forgot one topic from Bell, West Virginia, which I know you've talked about a ton. But did you and Randy play one-on-one ever?
We probably did, and that's not really what he wanted to do. That was a more of a business decision for him not to play me one-on-one. But yeah, we had a good time.
Oh, so you would take it to Randy?
I'd take it to Randy, but that's only on the basketball court. Any other court, any other sport, he probably wins.
Do you think? I mean, you play with some of the greatest athletes of all time, and against him, Kobe, whoever you want to name, LeBron, whatnot. Is Randy on that level in your mind?
I think so. I mean, when you say athlete, I'm thinking about all sports, not just their specific sport. And if you put Randy Moss and give him a summer, 2 or 3, 4 months to train at any event, any sport, he'll be top 5 at it.
Could he touch like the top of the backboard? How high could that dude get? Because I know,
he could get as high as he needed to be. I would. There were sometimes I would catch myself throwing alley oops just to like throw him as high as I could, knowing that he's not going to get it, and he would get it every time.
How about Randy becoming this big media star nowadays?
Unbelievable. I mean, he's great, isn't he? Speaks well. I think guys respect his opinion and definitely respect him.
Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt. All right. I'm going to get to Memphis in a second, but I want to fast forward to Miami, your 7th season in the league. You win an NBA championship, by the way, the same year that Jordan won his first in year 7. So you got a Mike comp right there. Playing just what's when you think back and you have a smile on your face, playing with Shaq, playing with D Wade, having Pat Riley, this taskmaster coaching you. I mean, that's a mature dude that you were at that point to be able to handle all that was coming at you.
For sure. I mean, but the greatest thing about the Heat organization, you don't really have to get to that dude because everybody underneath him, you got to respect them too. So if there's something that happens that you need to go to Pat's office, it's too late now. You know what I mean? So I think just with that organization, their culture, once you step in, once you sign that contract for the Heat organization, you know their culture and you're not going to get out of line. So that organization is one of the best, if not the best, that I've ever been a part of.
I mean, what does it mean to you, kind of looking back on it, that people looked at you as sort of this and one street ball guy, which to me basketball is basketball for the record, but here, I mean, that is a structured situation. Sacramento, after you moved out of there, and I know you think that the trade for Bibby was probably right for them, but people did not think that you had the steadiness to be a championship point guard, and here you went out and did it.
Yeah, well, everybody has their own opinion, and they're like buttholes, so, but, I think, honestly, I think when I was in Sacramento, I don't think as a team, we thought we could win a championship. There was just too many better teams, not to mention Kobe and Shaq. But once I got to Miami, that was the only thing we were thinking about as championship. It was either championship or bust.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you watch Sacramento go up against Lakers and all the foul calls that went down in game 6 and 7, did you think the league was sideways in that series?
No, never. I never thought the league was sideways. I think the NBA referees have a great job for one, but two, I think it's one of the hardest jobs in the world. I mean, because everybody complains every play. There's probably a foul that could be called every play, a violation that could be called every play. So I think those referees need to get be cut a little bit of slack because they got a tough job.
Fair enough. All right. So is there any moment with Shaq and you that you could share today? Because we talk to Shaq all the time. One of my favorites. Is there any like bonding moment or time when he's kind of making fun of you or something?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, Shaq's, if you know Shaq, you know Shaq. What you see on TV is what you get. There's no fake about him. But before the trade went down to Miami from Memphis, he and I used to be neighbors here in Orlando, but he sold his house not too long ago. But he came over and asked would I want to play with him in Miami. I said, for sure, man, there would be no doubt about it. So he pulled his cell phone out and called Pat Riley up right away and put the phone on, give me the phone. I'm like, sure, I'd love to come and play in Miami. You kidding me? You know, so, you know, I didn't really think that it was going to happen, but once he handed the phone to me and Pat Riley was on the other end, I pretty much knew it was a done deal.
Had Pat set that up, or was Shaq just playing GM?
I think Shaq was playing GM before, you know, and then I think then Pat set the rest up, you know, the big part of it, you know, the rest of the pieces.
That's the influence of Shaq forever and always, which he was doing in Orlando, did in LA, doing it in Miami. All right, let's talk Memphis. First off, when you watch Ja Morant play, how excited do you get? I mean, that dude is, you guys aren't the same, but you're kind of the same in a very playing the game in a super exciting way.
Yeah, I mean, the one word that comes to me when I see Ja Morant is just wow. I mean, the things that he does, I don't even know how good. I don't even think he knows how good he is, because he just goes out and does whatever he has to do. And I think the ceiling. I mean, the ceiling is so high for him. He can do anything. So he's just so athletic. And the bottom line, I think that's misunderstood about him. All he wants to do is win. Whether he scores 35 or he scores 5, as long as they win, then he's happy.
The way that I would compare you to Morant is there's a naturalness, a flow. Like he made a spin move in the air the other day and a finish that was completely ridiculous. And like, I don't know. I know you practice off the elbow, but the bounce into the jump shot against Bibby, like all these things, there's something that you're just feeling in the moment that just flows out of you. Does that make sense at all?
Well, for sure. I mean, I'm gonna get things. I'll keep it 100. He's way more athletic than I ever thought about being, you know, so it definitely comes way more easy and more natural to him. You know, everything you've seen me do, I've practiced, like you said. I'm not so sure everything Ja Morant does, he's practiced. It's because he's so gifted, so athletic, you know. So he is fun to watch, and that team is fun to watch. You know, hopefully they can make a long push in the playoffs.
Toughest point guard you ever went against?
You know, Stephon Marbury is going to ring a bell, and Speedy Claxton. I don't know if you remember Speedy Claxton when he played in Golden State with Troy Murphy and Mike Dunleavy. They was kind of the first ones to run a 4-out, one in kind of offense. And that pick and roll with Speedy Claxton was so freaking fast. It was so hard to guard. So Speedy Claxton's on the list.
I like that under the radar name right there. 4 out, 1 in. Today we're seeing like 5 out. Yeah. You look good in today's game, Jay Will.
I would love to play in today's game, but I would struggle, I think, because point guards nowadays got to score 30 points for their teams to be successful, and I wasn't that kind of guy.
That's true, but I don't know. I feel like there's so much space on the court right now, and you can't body people as much. I mean, how would they even how would they guard you?
They probably wouldn't be able to in the open court, you know, especially with some shooters around me. I would have fun, though, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I want to go back to Memphis, and one of my favorites is Hubie Brown. Can you talk about his influence on you? Because, you know, at that point in your career, you're leaving Sacramento, you're getting traded, you had a brief suspension, and here comes a legend of the game bringing you along in Memphis, kind of out of the shadows. And I don't know how much he impacted what ultimately ended up happening in Miami.
For sure, he was a huge impact on my life, you know, and to be honest, when he first took the job in Memphis, I'm thinking to myself, oh, Lord, I'm in trouble, you know, because when I got drafted, he was commentating, and the things that he said was, I mean, it wasn't negative, but it wasn't too positive either, you know, like, so when he took the job and he came in and we had a first team meeting, he had three rules as an NBA team, man, and Hubie Brown's top 2 maybe coaches I've ever played for. And his 3 rules were know when to shoot, know when to pass, and be on time. And other than that, man, if those 3 things were done, everything was smooth with Hubie Brown.
That's how he would do it on the broadcast. 3 things. First, the pass.
Yeah. That's right.
The catch, and then the finish.
That's right. Hubie Brown's the greatest, man. I love Hubie Brown to this day.
NBA legend, no doubt. All right, let's wrap on this. First off, who do you like in the tournament? Again, Jay Will working with Powerade. We're into the Sweet 16 as we're talking. You got a pick?
Man, you know, my Final Four from the beginning was Gonzaga, Baylor, Tennessee, and Creighton. So it's not looking very good right now. But I think Gonzaga is going to win it all. I think those 2 big guys and the way their guard play is something.
Timmy's playing great ball, no doubt about it. All right, I want to go one more back into your NBA career, and I'm going to Miami, and it's the Eastern Conference Finals. You guys are playing Detroit. You weren't there the year prior, but they had lost to them. You hit 10 in a row to start that game to send you guys into the finals, help send you into the finals. Do you ever look back on that game as like that was my favorite time ever on the court? Does it stand out to you in any way? I was curious.
No, I definitely look back at the game, but not my favorite time on the court. My favorite time was winning the championship. After that game, it didn't matter what was going on. That championship meant everything to me. You know, people said this that I'll never get one, and that's something that can never be taken away from me. Now, back to your point about the Detroit game. Yes, I made 10 in a row, but hell, I had Dwayne Wade and Shaq and Antoine Walker out there, so those guys were getting double teamed. All I had to do was just knock down the open shot.
True point guard, always dishing, even to this day. Last one. Has John Stockton ever talked to you even since you guys stopped playing, or is that guy still got you on silence?
Man, he's got me on silence. I think he has everybody on silence. But if I tell you what, if I ever see Mr. Stockton out in public, he will be forced to talk to me that day. I promise.
you make him do that. You guys should have a combo. That was a great competition. Loved the era, Jay Will. Great to talk to you. I was so excited when this popped in. So continued success to you, my friend. Keep talking because people love to hear from you. Working with Powerade, and thanks again for the time.
Pause is power.
Pause is power. All right. See you next time.
Thank you.